Unless you've been hiding this last week and a half, you know that Oprah and Adele sat down recently after Adele's 6-year hiatus. And when I think about Adele and her interviewing, she is so confident that there must be something we can learn from her and what she does while she's interviewing that we can apply directly to our job interviews. So today, I'm breaking down 4 different things that I saw Adele do really well in her conversation with Oprah that you'll be able to apply directly to your next job interview. Hi, I'm Jenna. I'm founder of Own the Interview as well as an HR professional, and I've supported thousands of people with their interview preparation and career advice. This channel is all about providing you with simple and relevant tips to apply directly to your career journey. So if you're looking for videos like this, subscribe to this channel, make sure you hit the bell so that you're notified when I release new content, and don't forget to like this video if you find it useful. Ready to get started and hear about Adele and what we can be doing like her to be successful in our next job interview? Let's go. So the first one I want to start with is eye contact. In Western culture, we know that when we're looking at someone directly in the eye, this is a form of respect. It's showing that we're engaged and that we're listening and that we care about what the other person's saying. And when we're looking at someone directly in the eye, when we're talking, it's showing that we're confident in what we're saying and that we're assertive and grounded in what it is we're saying as well. And research actually shows that when we look at people in the eye, it's a form of building trust. So you can see how important it is to be looking at people directly in the eye when you're in an interview. You want them to be able to walk away after listening to everything that you've said and trust that what you've said is true and that you can in fact do all the things that you said that you would be able to do for the job that you're applying for or that you've been interviewing for. So there's 2 other things that I want to say about eye contact. When I think about eye contact, I think about the pandemic and how we've been wearing masks so much. And, those eyes, 1,000 words are said with your eyes without having to say one word. And so think about how important, again, that eye contact is when you're looking at someone, how much you're saying without saying anything. And then the second thing that I wanted to make sure that I mentioned as well is that one of my clients had asked me the other day about being uncomfortable looking at someone directly in the eye, both when she interviews and when she's being interviewed. And there are spots throughout the interview that I would say, if you're one of those people that you're uncomfortable looking at people directly in the eye when you're talking to them, there's 4 areas that you absolutely must look at someone when you're talking to them during an interview for you to be able to build that trust with them and that rapport. And so the first is when you're introducing yourself. The second would be when you're telling them why you want the job. The third would be when you're asking them questions. And the fourth would be when you're thanking them. So make sure that you're absolutely, without a doubt, looking at your interviewer or interviewee in those 4 different times during the interview. And otherwise, I would say if you need to give your gaze a little break, you need to look off to the side for a second. Of course, that's normal, but really do make sure that you are thanking them, you're looking directly at them. When you're asking your questions, you're looking directly at them. When you're explaining why they should hire you, that you're looking directly at them, and also when you're telling them about yourself. The second thing that I saw Adele do really well during her job interview The second thing that I saw Adele do really well during her interview with Oprah was smile. It's so simple, but you know what? When I'm nervous, it's the first thing to go. I get awkward, my face kind of goes a little bit stone, and I don't smile. And so I'm putting it out there to you because nerves, they're a thing that happen for job interviews. And so if you're a person that also let nerves get the better of you and you stop smiling and get a little bit too serious, remind yourself to smile during the interview. Smiling actually triggers positivity. And so if there's anybody that we want to feel positive leaving a conversation, it definitely is our interviewer. We want them to leave feeling like, I want to think about their experience and think about whether or not they really can get the job done. They seem like they would be such a great addition to the team because they're such a happy person or whatever that is. Now, I'm not talking about cheesing it up in your interview like pageant smiles. That just gets creepy, right? So no pageant smiles. Take a look at this photo of Adele. She just has this nice, simple gaze that she's staring at Oprah, having the conversation, but shows her interest, again, with the eye contact, and has a lightness to her face that brings good energy. The next thing that Adele did really well in her interview with Oprah was vulnerability. She was vulnerable. She does this so well in her music and in her conversations with people. She's not afraid to let down her guard or to share where she's messed up, to share where she's hard on herself, those mistakes. It's really admirable, actually. And when I think about an interview, I want to hear from my interviewees when I'm interviewing them about where they've messed up, about what their faults are, and about what they've learned during those periods of time. It shows me that they have a growth mindset, that they're not afraid of messing up, that they're not perfectionists, that they can move on when they've messed up and not get stuck in what they've done wrong, but rather learn from their mistakes, teach others, and move on. And so if there's one thing that I can offer you in this conversation or this video today, it would be to not be afraid to be vulnerable. Now, in this interview with Oprah, if you have watched it or you go back to watch it now that you're watching this and I've intrigued you, she talks about divorce and her breakup and things. And I'm not saying to do that in your interview by any means, but like I had mentioned, to be able to share your mistakes and the learnings that you've had from them, that shows a lot of growth and is definitely someone that I would want to bring on my team. The last thing I want to point out that I saw Adele do really well in her interview with Oprah was storytelling. So she told stories about the conflict that she had with her father, how she met her boyfriend or her current partner right now. She talked about her divorce. There were a lot of different stories that she shared in this interview, and again, with vulnerability. And so storytelling is a big aspect of job interviewing. And if you can nail this, it's such an important thing to be able to convey that you're the person that they should be hiring to get the job done. And so when you think about storytelling in the framework of a job interview, not just an interview about your personal life, I would think about using the STAR method. So this is a method that was designed by a consultant specifically for job interviewing, and it breaks down a really great way to talk about stories in an interview so that you nail every single aspect of the story to be able to convey to the interviewer what exactly happened, what you learned from it, the results that you had, and give enough context to it. And so again, it's called the STAR method, and it's definitely a great one to use and leverage for behavioral interview questions. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this video, and I hope that it's been helpful.